Hello and welcome to the Family Learning Team's Silly Story Cube Challenge Part 2. Where will Nigel's journey up the mountain take him next?
Nigel stood at the base of the coloured mountain and looked up. The path twisted and weaved ahead of him before disappearing into a magical upside-down forest. As he arrived, he marvelled at the incredible trees whose branches and leaves sat on the forest floor like huge umbrellas, their trunks soaring into the sky, with roots disappearing into the clouds. Suddenly, from within the shadows of a nearby tree, Nigel heard a familiar howl. "Help!" Nigel followed the sound and raced into the shadowy base of the tree. "Up here!" Nigel looked up and saw a small brown dog harnessed to a parachute backpack. The parachute was open and tangled in the tree branches.
Nigel ran over to the little brown dog, jumping up into the upside-down tree to untangle the crumpled yellow parachute which was caught in the tree roots. All of a sudden, bump! Down fell the dog and the backpack. "Hola!" said the little brown dog as he grabbed his backpack, looking all around him. "Am I in Spain?" asked Nigel. "No," said the little brown dog. "Mi nombre es Vinny, vivo en España," and laughed. "I take it you are lost too?" Yes. Hi, I'm Nigel, and I am so lost," sighed Nigel. "This is a planet Rombola, and I have no idea how I really got here or how I'm going to get home." "My magic backpack malfunctioned!" screamed Vinny, shaking the backpack before checking it and pulling it close to him. "This wasn't the plan." All of a sudden, there was a strange noise which sounded familiar to Nigel. "We better get out of here," he whimpered, and grabbed Vinny by his sparkly green collar. As they ran, they stumbled upon another spaceship, this time with a friendly alien on board who offered to take them back home, away from the cold and icy but somewhat magical planet they had found themselves in. As the ladder was lowered, a large red alien bounded up, out of breath, shaking a red ticking clock, shouting it was time to go, to hurry up, as the flockerolls were coming, having heard of the strange visitors to their planet. Nigel pushed Vinny up the stairs with his big snout and ran in after him, closing the door with a bang, seconds before they took off. In their haste, they had left behind Vinny's magic backpack.
Ralph's cousin Tony oversaw the driving of the spaceship. He pushed the big rainbow button and blast off. The spaceship soared through the universe, twisting and turning through Milky Ways and galaxies. Vinny and Nigel held on tight to their magic backpack. As Tony shouted, "It's gonna be a bumpy ride!" Soon after, the spaceship landed with a thud. As the doors opened, Vinny and Nigel seen the world's biggest castle on the outskirts of the forest they had landed in. Tony decided it was too cold for him to stay, so he said his goodbyes, and with a loud whir, the spaceship took off. Vinny and Nigel decided they were too tired to walk to the castle today, so they set up camp in the forest, they set a fire to keep warm, and they settled for the night.
While Nigel and Vinny were in the spaceship, a shiny silver robot called Ralph appeared, which distracted the flockerolls and gave enough time for Vinny and Nigel to get the magic backpack. With the doors of the spaceship closed firmly, Vinny gave his magic backpack one last squeeze in the hope it could magic them somewhere safe, where Nigel could sing songs with his guitar and Vinny could continue with his plan to find the world's biggest castle.
The next morning, after a lovely sleep under the stars beside their campfire, Nigel and Vinny woke up to a lovely day. They found some berries for breakfast and then set off for the castle. It was a bit of a trek across some rocky terrain, but by lunchtime they arrived. They knocked on the huge castle door and were invited in by a friendly young woman wearing an apron. The young woman was Goldilocks, and she had been cooking pizza for lunch. She invited Nigel and Vinny to stay, and they made a band together. She was a drum player. As they sang and played, a small head peeked out of Vinny's magic backpack. It was a baby alien called Pip, who had stowed away. He was looking for a new home away from the Flockerels. Goldilocks, Nigel and Vinny welcomed Pip into their home, and they all lived happily ever after. The end.
Thank you for watching. Why not have a go at your very own Silly Story Cube challenge with your family? Share with us on Facebook or Twitter. Bye!